Fantah by Hadiza Bagudu. Chapter 1, October 1st, 1884. The sun had almost gone down and no game caught. It wasn't a very good day for hunting, Haya thought. He had been lying in wait all day long to kill something, but still no luck. Those Bororo again, he cursed under his breath. They must have driven the animals further away. He had noticed their temporary settlements the previous day and instantly knew there were going to be trouble. It was the beginning of the dry season, and the open savanna grassland of Adamawa region was a known heaven for cattle grazing. The Bororo nomads usually come around once in every 2 to 3 years to graze in the area, and each time they do, they upset the natural balance and order of the wildlife found there. The dry season was not only favorable for pasturing in that part of the savanna, it was also a very good time for game hunting, a sport which he loved very much. Haya was a soldier in his early 40s and still very much physically fit with the relentless enthusiasm of an adolescent. During the brief periods of calm experienced in the conflicts between the Fulani and the indigenous Muslim people, he liked to go inland into the lush grassland for some solitude and game hunting. It gave him the peace and quiet he needed to rest and to reflect and recuperate. As he moved silently through the grass, he heard a sound which he mistook for some wild animal. So he crouched towards the sound with caution. But as he approached the area, he saw a cow and then another. He patted the tall grass he was hiding behind and saw more cows grazing peacefully in an open area. Annoyed, he thought of going to meet the cattle rearer to give him a piece of his mind. But just as he was about to do that, he noticed a figure, not among the cows, but under a tree, away from the animals. It was that of a typical Bororo girl. She was tall, slim, and had a light but brownish complexion common to the Fulbe tribe. Her face was turned away from him towards the cows. She had a wrapper that was tied low around her waist and held together in place by lots of beads known as jigida. Her blouse was tiny, barely covering her upper torso, and was decorated with beads of different colors, and little colorful pieces of cloth were sewn onto it. Her hair was braided in cornrows of different sizes, decorated with beads of different colors. When she turned her face towards him, he held his breath. She had the most beautiful face he had ever seen. It was oval in shape, enriched with big eyes and a cute pointed nose. Her lips were tattooed black and her eyes were also lined with dark coal. Her cheeks were lined with three dots on each side and on her ears were large round earrings. He put her age at around 14 or 15. She was so beautiful that for a moment he doubted whether she was human or jinn. Suddenly, there was an uneasy but familiar calm around the place. With the eye of an expert hunter, he quickly scanned through the long, dry savanna grass that was swaying slowly in the wind, and there it was, almost unnoticeable, and blended into the brown grass was a lion making its way towards the herd of cattle, moving slowly and stealthily without being noticed. The girl was obviously unaware of what was about to happen. She was so engrossed with her surveillance duty that from a distance her face radiated a calm and peaceful demeanor. He almost felt sorry for her as she was about to be terrified beyond her imagination. Silently but quickly, he drew out his bow and arrow and aimed straight at the beast. To his horror, he noticed that the lion wasn't going towards the animals but towards the girl. A man eater, he thought, as he quickly dipped his arrow in poison and primed it on the bow, aiming at the beast. How could this be? There are only a few people living in this area except for the Bororo who must have arrived in the past few days. But there was no time to ruminate. He had to act fast or else the girl would be dead. Suddenly, from its squatting position, the lion sprang towards the girl as he fired an arrow towards it. The cows started to run for their lives in different directions. The girl turned and saw the beast and let out a shrieking scream. Everything happened very fast, and at the end of it all, the beast lay dead at her feet. He then came out of the grasses and ran towards her. She was frozen stiff with fear. Are you all right? He asked, gasping for air. But she didn't answer. She was still frozen with fear, and her eyes were fixed on the carcass. It's all right. It's dead now, he added as she lifted her eyes to meet his, with a terrified look still on her face. It then dawned on him that she couldn't understand him as he was speaking Hausa to her. So he switched to Fulfulde language and asked her again if she was all right while trying to calm her down. She must have suddenly come back to her senses because she immediately untied the veil from around her waist and covered her head, turning her back shyly away from him. It's okay, he said again. The Bororo are known to be very coy, especially their women, and he didn't want to upset her. You shouldn't be coming out here alone to graze. You know, these parts are swarming with wild animals. Perhaps you should come in groups. Better yet, let the men do it. She still didn't say anything, so he continued. This is a man-eater, which makes it even more dangerous to be out here alone. I haven't seen one in a long time, you know. He kept talking for about 2 minutes without her saying anything in reply. Then, just as he was about to stop talking from the corner of his eyes, he noticed that she quickly stole a glance at him before running away. Great, he exclaimed. She ran away and left her cows. Well, she will have to come back for them. So she sat down under the tree to wait for her return. So he sat down under the tree to wait for her return. Later that day, a young Bororo girl dressed in a typical Fulani outfit was walking down a path with a stylishly decorated calabash filled with milk balanced firmly on her head. She moved gracefully without upsetting it. Hey, Pullo, what do Kosam? She heard a familiar girl's voice beckoning, and she turned toward the sound to see who it was. Fanta, what are you doing here? She asked, walking towards her and placing the calabash on the ground. Where did you leave the cows? It is your turn to watch over them. Oh, they are fine, Fanta replied nonchalantly. You abandoned them again? Baba will be angry. Don't worry about them. She opened the calabash and took some of its contents and started drinking. Wow, you didn't make any sales today. Fanta, stop drinking the milk. Dada will know. She snatched the ladle from her and used the woven raffia to cover the calabash again. Where did you leave the cows? What if something happens to them? Come on, Didi. You know that these cows are smarter than most of the boys in this village. Believe me, they are. What's wrong, Fanta? She asked her, knowing her sister was hiding something from her. I met a man. You did? Did they gasp? They got up and started walking towards home. Yes. Oh, he was so wonderful. I thought you said all boys were stupid. Oh, yes, but he is not a boy. He is a man, she said with a dreamy look. Oh, wow, her sister said in surprise, and Fanta told her all about the handsome stranger who saved her life. Thank you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.